into my eyes. Do you see fear? You come at me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the God of Israel. Yes! Right between the eyes! Did you see that? Anyone? Of course not. Okay then, one more time. Tally, not now! I'm trying to protect us from this Philistine. Whoa! No, not that way! Come on! Back to your mom. Right, Philistine. Oh, wait! Right between the eyes. Oh, of course. That one you saw. Tally! Tally, no! I'm coming, girl! Whoa, easy! Shira! I will bring her home safely. Wait, no! There you go. I'm almost there. Okay. Oh! Tally, stop! No! That doesn't help. That does. Stop. Thank you. 할래니 נפשי ישובב ינחני במגע לצדק למען שמו.
What you have just watched is a concept short or a musical animated feature film on the story of David, and our vision is to tell it in the same quality as movies like Tangled and Frozen. This is more than a movie. This is a movement to join people from all over the world to try and make the world's most watched animated theatrical release. You can show your interest in investing by going to angel.com/David. Growing up in the wild of Africa was the most incredible experience, and it was there that I bumped into the most amazing character of God and fell in love with him. At the same time, I was reading David's story, and it just really struck me. On one particular canoe trip on the Zambezi River, where you could canoe for days and not see a human being, I was reading the scriptures and I read, "I found in David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart." And I thought how amazing it would be to do a film that could give people all over the world a glimpse into God's heart. We grew up on a farm that had no electricity. I only saw my first film when I was 14 years old, and it was such an electric experience. I was blown away by the power of film and the power of story to connect with people and move people. And from that day, I became passionate to tell a story on the life of David. The question is, can a group of farmers from Africa make a global hit that's going to reach the world? This is in and of itself an incredible David versus Goliath story.
There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And in order to tell a story as big as David, we need people from all around the world to come together.
Over the last 20 years, Jackie and I have just been blown away by how God has miraculously drawn talent to us. Now we have the most awesome, high-quality team.
Like Nathan Stanton, who spent 22 years at Pixar, Jonas Myron, a Grammy Award-winning musician, Borja Montoro, a Disney animation alumni, other talent from massive films like Big Hero 6, Tangled, Finding Nemo, Zootopia, Moana, Prince of Egypt, and many more.
Our first breakout hit is Jungle Beat, an incredible and beautiful show. On our YouTube channel, we get over 2 billion views a year. We've got 7 million subscribers. We also recently released our first animated feature film called Jungle Beat the Movie. And incredibly, it was on Netflix's top 10 for over 2 weeks, both live action and animated feature films in the US. We are also doing a theatrical release of Jungle Beat the Movie in China later this year, and are in production of Jungle Beat the Movie 2. What really excites me is if you take Jungle Beat the Movie, we produced that for $5 million. And I'd really encourage you to go and watch it on Netflix to see the quality of movie we produce for that price. And just imagine the quality of movie we could produce on David with the proper budget. With David, we considered the route of engaging with Hollywood, and there is significant interest down that route. But we really felt that from a creative point of view, we need to stay the head and not the tail of this project. And it's a slingshot, like David went with a slingshot to fight Goliath. We really believe that the strategy needs to be outside the Hollywood system for it to work. In this vein, we are thrilled to be working with Angel Studios for distribution. Angel Studios did the TV series The Chosen, which has become the world's biggest TV series on the life of Jesus Christ. The Chosen has generated hundreds of millions of views and tens of millions of dollars. We've already got $19 million of investments and need another $35 million to complete this project. We need your help to bring God's heart to the world through the story of David. Go to angel.com/David to show your support for this project now. And let's join together to try and make the world's most watched animated theatrical release.
Hello, Internet. I am Brent Dawes. I'm the writer and one of the directors of David. And I was going to say a little bit about myself, but I was caught up in watching the demo again and hearing Phil and Jackie talk about the project and getting more and more excited about it. And it's like, I just want to really make this thing now. I want to bring it to the world because it's so exciting. And while we were on as well, Rita sent me a message and she says, I'm going to read it for you here. She says, tears in my eyes at this moment, the music, everything. So you can tell that we love the project, and we're looking forward to spending the remainder of an hour with you, telling you more about it, and hopefully getting you excited about it as well.
Yeah,
Over
awesome.
to you,
It
Reed.
is. It's just amazing how, thank you, how every time I watch that demo, man, I just, something just rises up in me. So I'm thrilled to be here with Brent, and my name is Rita Mbanga. I'm one of the producers on this film, and Brent and I have actually been working together for 20 years now, which is really, really fun and has been quite a journey, but we're delighted to be here with you guys. I'm just going to tease kind of what we have for you guys for the next hour. We are first going to just say thank you. We've had an amazing and overwhelming response in pledges. You can see the website there, angel.com/David. Over 3,000 people have pledged over $3.5 million already, which is just phenomenal, and we are thrilled. And we'd love to get $200,000 in pledges during this live stream. That is our goal. So please help us out. Angel.com
Please
/David.
do, because last time when Phil did a live stream, he got 160,000 during the live stream. We need to beat Phil.
We need to beat him. So yeah, competitive much. So that would be, it would be really, really awesome. And then I'm going to chat to you guys about the David Award nominations, which we're also really, really excited about. Remember, you can nominate anyone who you feel is a modern day David, and we will tell you how. And then Brent's going to break down the David demo for you. So what you've just seen, he's going to share some of our favorite moments, details on the making of it, and just give you a few hints on what the full-length film could look like. Then we'll have some time for a Q&A at the end, and we look forward to hearing your guys' comments, and we'd love to kind of hear from you as we go. So starting with the David Awards, it's an award system that recognizes modern day Davids. Oh, someone from Spain. That's awesome. Hello, Spain.
Hey,
we had
Melody.
some of our favorite people that we've been working with are from Spain. So that's really, really cool. Yes, the David Awards, it's a system that recognizes modern day Davids. So there's a slideshow coming up that you guys can see. The exciting thing is that you can nominate anyone in your life who you feel is slaying giants and exhibiting the true spirit of David, who's compassionate, who's humble, who's loyal, who's brave. And we just love this because, we really believe that David is a story that will inspire a generation to live more courageously and love more generously. We really think this film's got power to change us and to change the world. And we'd love to hear about your stories of people around you who you feel are, exhibiting great endurance in the face of extraordinary odds, or living courageously, loving generously, being compassionate, brave, and changing the world. And we'd love you to nominate them for a David Award, and here is how. You can go to any of our socials and create a post on Facebook or Instagram. Make sure you hashtag David Award nomination. Tag us, tag your nominee. Check out our social media to see the submissions that have already gone up, and we'll call out some of the ones that we love on our live streams. So Facebook is at The David Movie, and Instagram is at The David Movie Official. And this is just, it's just such a special thing because, there's just a lot of really beautiful, brave things happening in the world right now, and we would love to see them. And even now, as you guys are watching, we'd love it if you throw up some of your comments on people in your life that you feel are modern day Davids. And we'd love to read any ideas you have about people in your life that are doing amazing things, and who have inspired you. I'm just going to kind of give you one quickly. Oh, okay, cool. Brent, you go.
Okay, I've got two, and I'll do them quickly.
Okay.
And they can't be real nominees because the first one is actually Phil, the producer of this movie, because he was legitimately a chicken farmer in Zimbabwe who had an idea to try and take on Hollywood and make movies at that scale and that level. And it really is a David versus Goliath story. He mentioned in that preamble beforehand. But that's why I think Rita and I have been working together for 20 years, because working for a man like him is just inspiring. And it makes you it makes you feel like you're a part of something really special. So he would be a nominee, but I think that probably goes against the rules. The second one, because I think, you can nominate anyone, like someone that's making a huge impact in the world, or someone who's just showing some immense bravery in their own personal life. And the other person that I would nominate is actually my daughter. A couple of years ago, she was doing signed up for a talent show at school with a couple of her friends, and they were going to sing a song. And she said she had her friends come around. Lovely. I see that comment
awesome,
there saying that your sons are the bravest guys I know. And so this is on the same lines as me talking about my daughter. So they had a little practice session at home, and she said, Dad, and we filmed ourselves with the iPad, and we were terrible. And she acknowledged, she said, we were so awful. And I was like, And I kind of knew at that point she actually wasn't that fantastic a singer. And I was like, so I guess you're going to pull out. And she said, no, we're still going to do it. It'll be good experience. How else are we going to learn? I was just blown away. So they went ahead and did it. Didn't sound fantastic, but took that step and did it. And she's carried on singing, and now she can sing. She's fantastic. And I think that step of bravery for her, like, I would nominate that. And then I see, Tim, you'd nominate your mom. Go ahead, nominate your sons, nominate your mom. Tell us a little story on the social platforms. Be wonderful to hear.
We'd love to read all those stories. It is just really amazing. And I love that story about Brent's daughter. I remember that happening live, and it's really, really special. Funny enough, Brent nominating Phil, who I'm not, I can't officially, but who I would, is actually Phil's wife, Jackie. She is just, as Brent was saying, Phil is, a chicken farmer and had this big dream and this big vision. And Jackie is just so fearless. And she was just like, he rolled over one day and was like, we're going to take on Hollywood and make this movie. And Jackie was like, let's do it. She's just so brave and, again, fearless and just up for anything. And she just does it all so compassionately and with such humility. And she just loves people so deeply. I think everyone who knows her feels like they're her best friend. She just loves people so deeply in the face of doing all this amazing stuff. So I would nominate Jackie. And Abigail says, my sister, she's a nurse and is always working hard and fighting sickness. She's also a teacher at our church and is really involved. That's awesome, Abigail. She's also really lucky to have you as a sister. Yeah, that's really special. So thanks, guys, and keep the posts coming. So the worldwide public votes as well, and there are going to be some cool prizes that will be, we will be announcing soon, and the winners are announced on November 30th. So the prizes will be teased out over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you get voting. We'd love to read. And so, before I go over to Brent to chat more about the demo, a reminder to please pledge angel.com/David. And back to you, Brent.
Cool, thank you. So I'm going to presume that those of you watching now have seen the demo. And if you haven't, I'm going to probably really annoy you because we're going to play it again for you just now, but I'm going to be speaking over it. So if you haven't seen it, you might want me to be quiet, but I ain't going to be this time. There will be other opportunities to watch it. This demo, before we start playing it, it was an absolute privilege to make. And this whole project, actually, I don't take for granted that we're doing something that's really special. And it feels like, so I've been, nice. Someone just pledged $1,000.
Yeah.
Thank you, someone.
Oh, and another one.
And another one for $500. Fantastic. I'm going to have to balance sort of calling these things out and talking. I've been with Sunrise for 21 years, and we've made a number of different things. There's a lot of projects that we've got on the go. When Phil came and said, and in fact, Phil has always wanted to make a movie on David, but we were just waiting for the right time, waiting for the right opportunities, and he came back from holiday once, and I think it was actually inspired by something that Rita said. I can't remember which way around it. He says, "Guys, we're going to make David an animation." And immediately I could see it. It resonated, it landed, and I understood it. And it really excited me because up until that point, he'd actually wanted to make it like a Gladiator or Braveheart. But he just felt that the David story needs to be told to as wide an audience as possible. And if you go, if you tell the real story, the Gladiator Braveheart story, it's going to be pretty R-rated, or we're going to have to cut out a great deal of stuff. But making it a family movie allows us to skirt past a lot of the pretty heavy stuff and really focus on this inspirational, adventurous character. And it was round about the time of Tangled and Frozen coming out, and I think they did a fantastic job with those properties. But I was like, if you could capture sort of the energy, humor, and fun of those sorts of movies, and really layer in some deep truth that can really touch people's hearts, then we're onto a winner. And so it's absolutely been the one project that I've been involved in that it just feels ordained, it feels anointed, it feels like it's meant to be, and clearly its time has come. And that has been during the recruitment process. Rita and I were sort of at the front lines of that. Rita is, as you can probably tell already, I call her our ray of sunshine in the company. She's our door opener. She has to do a lot of cold calling, and everyone falls in love instantly with her, and it makes me swooping in behind her, trying to land some of the creative talent really easy. But we have collectively just been amazed by the caliber of people, the enthusiasm of people, to join this project. It's really been phenomenal and unbelievable. Rita, I don't know if you want to mention anything there. And I'm just seeing pledges coming in down the bottom there as well. I don't know if I've missed stuff.
No, I'll just give you a few. So Aaron was here. He said he's super excited. He loved the demo. Tim said he can't wait for the film to come out. McAllister said she's calling in from Alaska. And then we've had a bunch of pledges come in. I've just been watching it. So that's really exciting, guys. Thank you so much. But yeah, what Brent was saying is so true. It's just been amazing, the people that have joined this project. And it's just, after doing a couple of initial cold calls, I'll just say to Brent, like, good luck, because there's just all these incredible people, like, you have to pick, like, take your pick. And I don't even, good luck to you for choosing, kind of thing, because it's just been a remarkable response, and it just, it really feels like it's the right time. And we're so excited. There's a comment here, Brent, can I read it? From Marion Sherman. She says, my friend Betty is a David. She cares for her husband in Ohio, who has numerous severe health problems, and then flies out to California to care for her 100-year-old mother's numerous health crises. She also volunteers playing the piano for church each week, makes handmade cards for others, and created and maintains a memorial garden for residents in an elderly setting. Wow. Betty is amazing. She inspires others. Thank you, Marion. That is amazing. Betty is truly an inspiration. Thanks, Brent. Back to you.
Cool, thanks. One other thing, well, maybe we'll say more than one other thing before we start. We'll see how it goes. But a thing I wanted to mention is this project. It feels like such an important project to tackle, and it feels like a legacy project, one that's really going to make a difference, not only in this generation, but in generations to come. And I remember while we were developing the script further and started to get some funding, and we started to move, I've never doubted, like, I felt that I've been called to be the custodian of the story. But also, I've never made anything like this. I've never tackled anything so big, And I was chatting to one of the producers on the project, and just letting her know that, I'm feeling quite intimidated by all of this and that, and I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And she looked at me and she said, "Good." She said, "I'm really glad, because then it means God's got room to move. You're not coming in sort of all feeling like you've got it all, and it's all going to be on you." She said, "It's not going to be on you, Brent. It's going to be God who's going to be directing you and directing the team to make this thing." And so that was just such a wonderful and freeing thing. And one of the other verses that we claim is, God uses the foolish things of the world and the weak things of the world to shame the wise. And which is why I think he sort of found this farmer in Zimbabwe, and he's like, "Well, yeah, you'll do." And it's just so wonderful, having come from that point of view, and sort of entering into this sort of really trusting that that he's got our back, and we've been called to do this, and we don't take that for granted or take it lightly. And I see Victorious Rose, what a lovely username, nominates her friend Stephen Jonathan. Is that Stephen Jonathan? He's got two first names. He always stands up for what he believes in. That's wonderful, and that's a much harder thing to do than a lot of people realize. Particularly in
Yeah,
this
it's
day and
very hard.
age, standing up for what you believe in, when there's a lot of talk, a lot of people shouting about a lot of quite challenging things. To be able to stand up and say, no, this is what I believe, I think that's very much a David thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, again, just a little reminder of how to nominate your people. Create a post on Facebook or Instagram with the hashtag David Award nomination. Tag us, tag your nominee. So Facebook is @TheDavidMovie and Instagram @TheDavidMovieOfficial. We look forward to reading more details. Thanks.
Cool. And guys, please feel free to send questions as we go into the demo. I'm gonna speak and talk about stuff that I think was quite interesting in it, but I imagine your questions will be really insightful and make me think as well. So I'd love to respond to your thoughts and questions. But perhaps we could get going and start watching, and I'm gonna ask to pause, and I'm gonna chat, and then we'll speak as we go.
Look into my eyes. Do you see fear?
And let's pause right there, please. as we got into this, like I was wondering what is a great opening shot, and I kept getting stuck on the verse that describes David, because we really we try as best we can to be, to let the scriptures be our instruction, our recipe book. And it says that David was ruddy and handsome, and it had captivating eyes. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful opening shot, just looking right into these eyes. And I love it. It took a long time to sort of figure out the opening of the demo. What is the first moment we see David? And I love the fact that we came up with this sort of fake out that David is taking on Goliath, because that's what everybody knows. So being able to have our David versus Goliath moment, but then undercut it, was just fantastic. You can carry on playing.
Fear, but I come in the name of the God of Israel.
Yeah, so this was just really fun for me to undercut that, to have a little bit of playful fun, to see him as a shepherd. It was just lovely. And maybe just pause here as well. That is a very, very hard shot to do. So this is this is about the technicalities. We had a fur and groom and hair specialist on the show, and he was like, Brent, you can have 3 shots where something interacts with David's hair, because they are so complex and take so much time, effort, and energy that we actually didn't have. We had a decent budget for this, but with Tali, who's the little lamb there, the fact that she goes over his hair, her hooves interact with it, and it's amazing. It still is amazing to me, even though I've been doing this 20 years, how much time, effort, and energy goes into every frame that you see. It goes by in the blink of an eye. You see a lamb go over his head, but the number of people that had to touch this shot to make it feel natural, that you're watching it and you don't get drawn out by the fact that his hair is looking weird, is quite phenomenal. And I just also love this as a moment, because this so speaks of David for me. He's such he really is. He's the warrior, shepherd, poet, king. And so I really wanted to try and find to be able to capture the tenderness that he has here, and just the fact that he actually knows each of his sheep by name. He takes that seriously. I think he's just a wonderful guy to bring to life. Yeah. Okay, we can carry on. And Reed, shout with any questions as well, because I know you also don't know how we do all of this. And here we get our first shot of Israel. And again, perhaps pause there for me. we've done 3 research trips to Israel. When I first wrote the full script, I went probably 5 years ago now, and I was disciplined to not start writing. Can you hear me? Something's going on in my ear, and it's not on your side. Am I good? Cool.
You're good.
I didn't want to start writing the script until I'd visited the place, because I knew that going there and being in the space that all of this took happened would speak to me, and it absolutely did. It was just unbelievable, and it surprised me no end, because I think we've all seen so many biblical things. We've kind of got this preconception as to what Bible land and Bible times is like. But I went in spring, and when I went to the Valley of Elah, where David fought Goliath, it was green. It was green fields with bright yellow and red flowers, poppy-like flowers there, and it felt like I was in Europe, and actually in the Bible it says in springtime when kings went to war, and I was like, this is springtime. So is this what it looked like? It's not the hot, dusty, dry. It's actually lush, and was quite amazing. And so a real honor to be able to go there, and a real amazing experience. And so the other thing that I recognize that it is very stony there. So I said to the guys, make sure there's lots of stones scattered around in the.
Yay, Braden!
What happened? I didn't see that.
Braden pledged $2,000. Sorry.
Oh, nice! Well done. Okay, cool.
And Jim has just pledged. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Marcin, thank you.
So again, in terms of the process of animation, it took a couple of. I went on a research trip so I could write the script. I took the art director on a research trip so he could feel and see the land. And again, we get the privilege to just let you watch this, but the amount of detail that has gone into these stones, that has gone into the grass, that has gone into the flowers, we're really wanting to capture what it really feels like there, and also surprise the audience that it's actually much more diverse than they expect. And one other little tidbit, actually, before we carry on, is I walked in the Valley of Elah, which is the valley where David fought Goliath, and there is a stream there which very seldom actually flows, but it was flowing when I was there because it was actually raining, and my guide said, Brent, you're very lucky. And I was like, okay, well, you call it lucky, I call it providence or whatever, but I selected a whole bunch of stones from that stream and brought them back and gave each one to a member of our team. And the stone that David flings in this demo, not that you see it significantly much, but is modeled off of an actual stone from the Valley of Elah where David would have selected his pebble. So how wonderful is that?
So wonderful. Sorry, Brent, can I just jump in quickly?
Okay, yes. Yes.
I just thank you, Andrea, though. She says she loves the details and the coloring and the animation quality. She's saying it's super captivating. Thank you. Brent is talking about like authenticity and being in the place and, like modeling the stone after a real stone. We have a guy in our team called Linton who's just phenomenal, and he's a specialist researcher. He's got the most phenomenal brain and the most phenomenal passion for attention to detail and authenticity. And so he's been a couple of times to Israel as well, but it's kind of his passion and his mission in life to make sure that what you see on the screen is real or has been inspired by something that's real. And he's got just endless notes, and he's just like an encyclopedia. You ask him anything about Israel, what they ate back then, he can tell you the gemstone of the tribe of Judah is an emerald. He can tell you on the bottom of the hems of their garments, this is what they had. And, because in one of the scenes, one of the storyboard artists had drawn somebody eating like a piece of chicken, and Linton was like, no, they didn't eat chicken back then. If you want to be authentic, you need to have him eating an olive or something like that. He's amazing. And I love talking to him about just all the details of what the world was really, really like there and then. Yeah.
Cool. Let's carry on.
Back to your mom. Right, Philistine.
Oh, there's a stone again.
Oh, wait!
There you go.
Right between the
You saw it.
eyes. Oh, of course. That one you saw. Tally!
And maybe pause here.
No!
Where Tali, the attention to detail again, where Tali scrapes over, actually you can see that she leaves behind like scratches on the rock before she goes over. And just speaking to the team that we have again is it's such a privilege to work with like-minded people who believe in the project, are incredibly talented, and want to create incredible work, because they bring these sorts of bits of attention to detail to the piece. It's like, well, he's going over, they'll think, well, she'll leave a scratch mark, and again, you may not pick it up as you're watching, but it all just adds to the feel that this is a real place and what have you. And I just huge shout out to the team, because again, what you're seeing all here is over a year's worth of research and development and work, and this is just one location, some sheep, and 5 minutes. So the actual movie itself, which is why we're needing the pledges, I guess. And I think you can carry on here. I'll talk over a little bit. What I really wanted to get as we carry on was, as David runs up to the edge, is you can hit play again there, is the sense of palm sweatingness, feeling this height and feeling the depth and feeling the peril and the danger. And maybe just pause here again. I just love that David takes a moment here as well. Again, just the tender side of him, to take a moment with Tali's mom to let her know that it's going to be okay. And just again, to really try and reinforce that David, he doesn't just shepherd the sheep. He cares for them, and he knows them, and he speaks to them. And really, this is all sort of foreshadowing what he's going to be like as a king. Because and actually, I'm going to take a brief moment here to pause and speak about the broader feature film. The story that we're telling, the story that people know, is the story of David and Goliath, and absolutely that is going to be in the movie. But something Phil wanted, and for those you may be joining late, Phil is the studio owner and is co-director with me on this, and executive producer, and ex-chicken farmer. But he said, Brent, I want to tell the story of from David, from shepherd to king. And I really struggled with that from a writing point of view. I said, Phil, the story that everyone knows is David versus Goliath. That's like the big thing that I can write towards. It's a fantastic end to a movie. And he says, yes, I know, and that's why we need to go past it. And it's like, I want to tell the story that people don't know. And actually, I'm so glad that he did that, because really, it's a story about two different types of leader. You've got Saul, who is king, and they both had the very same background. Saul was tending to his father's donkeys, David is tending to his father's sheep. But Saul let fear of man get to him, and love of life and all these things, and therefore was not a fantastic king. And David is quite the opposite. And I think that at this moment in history, we need to be highlighting people who are true leaders, that lead with a shepherd's heart. Because I think in this world at the moment, the wrong sort of leaders are being celebrated, and so we're wanting to champion and show people, no, there actually is another way. But Phil really did give me a challenge, though, because I did a timeline of David's life, and when we meet David in the Bible to when he defeats Goliath is 2 chapters. There's a further 38 chapters of David's life after that, so it's significant after that. That's all the way to when he dies, but there's a significant portion until he becomes king, which is what I had to sort of try and navigate through, which was quite a challenge, but I also think is really exciting, because those people who know the story of David and Goliath are going to be really surprised, because actually the moment where David takes down Goliath is the moment that things really kick into gear, because that's the moment Saul becomes jealous of David, and when things get really interesting. So there's a little tease to where we're going, and now back to him rescuing a little lamb. Okay.
Whoa!
Cool, I reckon we can pause here again. If you hear me randomly sort of saying, okay, there's a dude talking in our ears, helping us through this and reminding us of things. So Rita, you tell us what we should be remembering right now.
We'd love you guys to go to angel.com/David and keep pledging. Thank you so much for all of you who we've seen some things coming up, and it's just really amazing. We're so grateful to have you guys on our team. There's also an awesome comment from Matthew Benier. He says his favorite moment is when David's on the ledge and takes the entire experience in, seeing God's presence and then turning an expectation of his provision. And Matthew, that's actually the moment that I was watching when I texted Brent, and I just said, man, brings me to tears every time. It just, I agree, it's just super powerful. And Tim says he loves the animation of his hand gripping the rock. He says there's a lot of tension animated there. Thanks guys for your comments. It's really awesome to read them, so keep them coming.
Yeah, and I'm so impressed with myself how seamlessly and secretly I got you to speak about that without them knowing that I'd had someone talking in my ear. Not so much. But the reason I wanted to pause close to that hand shot was the fact, again, it's that attention to detail and the care that the team put into everything. He's got, and this is again a thing coming from Linton, is the rock that he's climbing on. So legitimately, we went to places like this in Israel, and I actually climbed a little bit on these rocks, and you end up with chalky, dusty hands, and you can see that being the case on David's fingers and on his feet and what have you. So just so wonderful to be able to pause on a frame and say that is true to how it is in Israel, which is just fantastic. Let's carry on a little bit here.
Sally, wait, no! There you go. I'm almost
And let's pause here again with him just standing there. There's this moment to me this is the real David moment, and this is the moment I think where it was really interesting for me as we were making this, because the process by which we make this is in stages. So first it's a script, so it's written. Then we do storyboards, so it's just drawn pictures. Then we put those storyboards on a timeline, and so to give a sense of how long shots are going to take. And the shot that is coming up just now that that person just commented on is where the sun starts to come out, the wind starts to blow. This is God arriving, and there's one shot where we're just slowly coming in on David, and the storyboard artist did it, and then the editor put it in, and it the editor had it there for maybe 8 seconds. I was like, no, it needs to be there for longer. And so she extended it out, and I was like, no, it needs to be there for longer. And she was like, no, but there's nothing happening, And I said, no, I said, everything is happening right now. This is the moment, And it was hard for the team. And this is also where it's wonderful to work with a team that trusts, because I needed them to trust me. It's like, guys, we need the space here, because this is the moment that it's the most poignant and most important moment of the thing. And it just didn't feel so when you're looking at a storyboard, because all you're looking at is just a drawn picture of David, and we're just going and taking forever and ever and ever. And the animator that animated that shot did such an amazing job, because you can see him go from a place of fear to a place of peace and rest, and I love also the fact, and this was again the teamwork of it. I originally had David asking for help or interacting with God or whatever, and the team, and Phil was one of the ones that said it. He's like, Brent, he doesn't need to say anything here. People will get it, and it's been amazing to me how I think it's fantastic to carry on playing. How amazing to me the response of people to that moment, that they really feel it, and that comes again to me it's this shot right here. Let's just watch while that happens, and you see the wind arrive. And maybe just pause on that scene there, or is one of the scriptures that Phil has always resonated with, and likewise all of us, is about how the heavens declare the glories of God, the glory of God, and that's where David met God out in nature, and he speaks through his very creation, and again, just having this moment where David looks out and sees this incredible landscape, and just connects him again with God, is just so phenomenal. And we've had so many people that have watched this, that have cried at this moment, that there's a real anointing there, and that's a thing that I feel really at peace, because in having the responsibility to write and direct this thing, I've made a deal. It's like, God, anointing is up to you, because I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? And it's a very freeing thing, because what we don't want to do is try and force people to have a feeling. We want to try and tell a story that is true to the moment, true to the character, and if there's going to be any sort of heart motion, that's not so much up to me. That's up to him, which is nice to sort of free myself of. I can't fully see those comments. Do you want to mention any that have come up recently?
A snapshot. So Brooke says, God is good. He shows up at the perfect moment if you watch and listen. And then I think it was Sydney, one that just went by, and I loved what she wrote. She said, I love that he didn't notice the place to grip his hand until he took the moment and connected with God, and that's just it's just so true, right? It's just so important to take that time to connect. And we've got another pledge, $150. Thank you.
Oh, nice. I love that you picked up on that, because that was absolutely the case. Is like he was kind of shown where to hold, and we've got I'm very aware of the fact that in this movie, we've got a very fine line to walk between what people's real everyday experiences of God versus what a fantasy, or what a movie version could be. Because those of us watching here and those of us who live our daily lives know that God very seldom shows up in a very practical, tangible way, in terms of, well, the wind blew and it made me look over here and I heard this audible voice. Certainly there are testimonies of those sorts of things, but the everyday nature of our lives is that we live our life, and it's that still small voice, right? So how do we weave that still small voice in and let the audience observe and see that in action without sort of God really intervening so much, and one thing that I'm not sure if it was done on purpose, but if you play again, you'll see that there's a crack in the rock in the shape of a cross next to David's head, which I actually only really fully, it's in the wider version of this. Maybe you'll see it now, maybe you won't, but if you watch it again, you'll see it. And I just love the fact that there's the cross there. We don't have to go back to that necessarily, but it'll cause you to watch the demo again.
Whoa! Tally, stop! No!
Yes, I know it's impossibly high, and I know no one could survive that. But there, I'm taking the I'm taking the animation angle. Again, I just love the dust in the air from the team. How it just lingers. It's just all so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I can see we've got 10 minutes left, so I'm going to let it run a little bit because I want to speak about the song that he's about to sing. Okay, you can pause here. This little lullaby that David is singing here, and again, guys, as you're watching, please do remember to go to angel.com/David with your pledges. We really appreciate your interest. We appreciate you being here, and really want you to be a part of this. And I'm loving the fact that we're getting the chance to share this with a bunch of people early, because we've been keeping this project secret for many years. So it's wonderful for us to be able to share it and talk about it. So please also do share it with others as well. But I just want to speak about this song here. So the little lullaby that he's singing here was written by Jonas Myron, who is the Grammy Award-winning songwriter. He won the Grammy for 10,000 Reasons, which he wrote with Matt Redman. And I briefed him. I was like, I really want David to have a song. I was like, I'd love it to be based on Psalm 23, and for it to be a lullaby that he sings to his sheep. So, but I would also want it to be in Hebrew. So the movie is going to have a lot of musical numbers in it, and they're not going to be in Hebrew. They're going to be in English. But this one in particular just felt right and appropriate. And Jonas went away, and he was quiet for a few months. So he's in LA, we're in South Africa. And after a couple of months, I got hold of him. I was like, Jonas, hey, how's my song going? He's like, oh, I'm going to have something for you in a couple of weeks. He says, I've been learning Hebrew. I've been meeting with a rabbi who's been teaching me Hebrew because I want to understand it. I want to understand the root meanings of everything. I want to get the pronunciation correctly. And I was like, okay, fair enough. You were quiet for a couple of months. That's fine. Carry on. I'll leave you alone now. But he sent me three different versions to choose from. And this one, all of them were fantastic and actually could stand alone. But this one just landed with me and resonated with me. And Rita, I'm going to say the thing that you always say, just seeing as I'm talking. But I was like, that's it, that's done. But Rita said to Jonas, she's like, she's worked with me at that point for 17 years. She's never known me to say yes first time. I always have notes. It's the director in me. There's always a comment. There's always a note. But he absolutely nailed it. And the only thing that I'm sorry about is that you only get a snippet of it in this little in this short. But absolutely, as the movie comes out, we'll be releasing soundtracks and what have you, and you'll be able to hear the full song. And potentially we release it beforehand. I'm not sure, but it's anointed and it is beautiful. And it's such a privilege. And the melody that he used was the inspiration for the rest of the score. So actually you can hear it if you watch the demo again. You can hear it echoed throughout the score. So it was just wonderful. So let's carry on to the end here. And stick around because I've got a really interesting thing to say about the David title. Another very tricky shot. That was one of my expensive shots. The lamb in the cloth. And that was another one there. And maybe you can just pause right there on this logo here. In our research trips, we went to the museum in Israel, and there's only one artifact that has ever been uncovered and discovered so outside of the Bible, which has gone through generation to generation, dug out of the ground, there's only one thing that they have found in all excavations that actually mentions the name David, and it's a partial thing. It says House of David. So if that piece were never found, there would be actually no historical archaeological evidence that David ever existed. The writing of the name of David, obviously this is now English that's written here, but if you look at the shape of that D and look at the A and the D are the same thing. The A is just a reversed version. That is taken from the actual engraved name of David in that archaeological piece, and that's how we came up with this logo, which I think is just so fantastic. Additionally, there's the V with the 3 little lines there, which signifies his lyre, but also the fact the Roman numerals 8, he was the 8th son. So nice simple logo, but with a lot of depth and meaning. And I can see that we're nearly out of time, so that's me talking about the movie, me talking about the demo. Thank you for being with us. And again, go to angel.com/David and keep those pledges coming in. I don't know how we've done this evening, but it's been so fun just sharing the project, and we can't wait to share more and more. Reets?
Yeah, and also please nominate the people in your life for the David Awards. We would love to read all about those amazing people in your lives. We've had a few snapshots here tonight, and so inspiring. But please go to the social channels and nominate away.
Cool.
So
we've got
time
3
for some
minutes left.
questions
So what should we
before
talk about?
Like 2 minutes? Yeah. So
Yeah.
questions.
Have we had any questions?
Oh, Regina's saying, how do you pledge when we log in? It says express interest only.
So my understanding is,
Yes.
and I stand under correction, is it is at this point in time, we're gauging interest in people. If we were to open the investment portal, we're trying to understand if there is interest, and absolutely already the response has been overwhelming. So at this point in time, you're showing interest, and then at a later point, I've gone dark because the studio has. I'm at the studio at the moment. Oh, there's a question.
Sydney is asking, yes.
Is all the animation done in-house? So for the demo, yes, it was all done in-house, and we were absolutely aiming to do as much of it in Cape Town as possible. And in fact, we had started bringing a lot of internationals across, and then lockdown happened. So we've kind of we did a significant portion of pre-production last year, and we're forced into working remotely with people. The irony is we flew people here from America, from Spain, to be a part of the team. They worked remote anyway at their houses in Cape Town because of lockdown. But we took that as actually a good thing, because it opened up the talent to which we could draw from. So we're wanting to have a significant portion of the team in Cape Town, but we are looking at working remotely with others as well.
And Natalie's asking, what is the David nomination? So the David Awards Natalie, if you go to our social channels and hashtag David Award nomination, it's to nominate anyone in your life who you feel is a modern day David. So anyone out there living courageously, loving generously, being compassionate and brave, changing the world in any kind of way, we'd love you to nominate them for a David Award. An example is Tim says, he says his mom is modern day David because her journey from where they came from as a single mum, taking care of 3 kids from Nigeria to Canada, has been one of his biggest inspirations. That's amazing.
Sure, amazing.
Love that you are from Nigeria.
That's
Your mom is a powerful woman. Definitely a modern day David, Tim. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, we have 1 minute left, so I think that's our time. And just thanks, guys, so much for being with us. It's really been awesome to be able to share more with everyone. And angel.com/David, please pledge and please nominate all the amazing people in your life for David Awards. And we look forward to chatting more as we go.
Thank you so much, everyone.